Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for finding me. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support, for all your feedback. I'm having such a great time doing this. I really value each and every one of you, so thank you so much. Now today I'm going to do a double ring pour. I've not done one of these before, so I'm gonna just do a bit of a trial and see where it takes me. So I'm gonna use a 4 colour tone colour palette, and I'm gonna use a 24 by 12 inch canvas. So I'm ready, are you? Let's see what we can create. So before I get started, let me just show you the tones that I'm going to use and the consistency for the ring pours. So this is a deep violet. It's a semi-transparent or semi-opaque colour, and it's by Dale Rowney, and it's System 3 acrylic. And you can see that it's quite a thick mixture. It's a mound upon a mound. It's a very creamy consistency. So this is a consistency that I use for all my ring pours. So it's going to be thicker than my traditional consistencies that I use for my Dutch pours. Okay, and then we've got 2 Amsterdam colours. I'm going to use the ultramarine violet. Again, a mound upon a mound. A very creamy consistency. And then we have the permanent red Violet Light by Amsterdam. Again, a very creamy, thicker consistency, a mound upon a mound. And I'm going to bring in a traditional titanium white by Montmartre. Again, I've tried to keep the consistencies exactly the same across the brands. I'm using a ready mixed pouring medium that I buy here in the UK from another artist. I've linked their site in my description below. So anyone in the UK, you can buy your ready mixed pouring medium from that artist. Okay, so you'll see that I am going to layer each cup in turn. And I've got 2 cups because I'm going to be doing a double ring pour. So I do have those 4 tones, and my intention is to layer those cups. I'm hoping to get about 3 or 4 layers in each cup. So you can see just here I am judging by eye the amount of paint I'm putting in each cup. I want to try and have a very similar consistency and volume in each cup, because that's really important for me when I'm doing my double ring pour. I want that balance of colours in each cup. So I'm trying to get about 3 or 4 layers, and I'm just going to put these right up to the top of the cup. You'll see I'm doing each colour and each layer in turn until I get right up to the top. Okay, so I am nearly there. Just one bit more. Right up to that top. There we go. Perfect. Cheers. Okay, you'll see what I've done is I have used the Amsterdam Ultramarine Violet to paint the edges of my canvas. So this is a 24 by 12 inch canvas. I've painted the edges. It's just something that I really like to do, especially when I'm doing something like a ring pour, because when I'm tilting, although I am intending on tilting a lot of paint off the edges, if there are just some small gaps, I'd rather that there was a coat of paint underneath first, so I don't have to go back over and do any touch-ups. So that's the reason why I like to paint my edges first. So as you saw, I layered the cup. I managed to get 3 different levels in, using each tone in turn, and I'm going to use each cup one side here, one side here, and I'm just going to pour out in a circular motion to create that ring pour. And then once I've done that, I'm going to pick the canvas up and just tilt it slightly before going over with a torch, because I've got some air bubbles in there. And then I'm just going to kind of see what pattern I have on the canvas before I tilt over to the edges. Okay, so here we go with the first cup. So I'm just going to do a circular motion. Round and round I go, and you'll see the tones that come out of the cup is exactly how I layered it in the cup. So one thing to remember when you're doing a ring pour, in fact, one thing to remember when you're layering a cup is the first colour that you put into your cup is going to be the last colour you see on the canvas. So when you're layering your cup, it's really important to bear in mind and have kind of an image in your mind before you kind of start out what colour you want your canvas or your creation to have a focal point on. So if I really wanted kind of like the purple to be the middle of that canvas, it would be important for me to layer the cup with a purple right at the beginning, because you're kind of working in reverse. When you're layering your cup, you're doing each colour in turn, but then when you're pouring your cup, obviously the last colour or the last layer that went into the cup is the first colour or layer that comes out of the cup. So that's one thing that I'm really conscious about when I'm layering a cup, is just remembering and understanding that the first colour that you put into your cup is going to be your last colour out. Okay, so I've nearly finished the second cup. I've got a pretty good balance, pretty good consistency from each cup, so I'm really happy with that. Just get the last drop out, and then I'm going to see where I am from there. Okay, in fact, it's quite a good pattern in the cup. Look at that. Let's hope I can kind of get that pattern on the canvas when I'm tilting. Okay, so I am going to, I think I need to just, let me just tilt it a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is get rid of the air bubbles. So I'm just doing a quick tilt just so I can get used to the thickness of the paint that's on that canvas, so it will help me control it when I'm doing a wider tilt. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the white bits of the canvas that you can see with some paint to help that flow as I tilt. But first of all, I'm just going to use my torch to get rid of those air bubbles. Okay, so there the air bubbles out. I'm going to just use some of the paints I've got left over that I used to layer the cups, and just kind of fill in the white gaps that you can see. That's going to help me when I do my tilting. That's just going to help the flow of the paint spread across the canvas and over the sides. So just fill in this bit here. I think that's nearly the end of that colour. Let me just get the other colour. And then I will just fill in the gaps. So really, this bit that I'm pouring on now, realistically, that's all going to go over the edges, because that's going to help me with the flow of the creation of the paint. Right, tilt time. Let's tilt this. I'm just going to go in circular motions to begin with. I apologise now if I go off camera and you can't fully see what I'm doing. I'm hoping to sort that out in the future. I'm hoping to get another camera that goes above me so you can see exactly what I see. I'm just moving the creation around the canvas. So you'll see that extra paint that I put on is more or less all off that canvas now, but it's helping the flow of the ring pours. I'm really, really happy. You can see there just on the edges that design's gone fully over the edge. The rings and the lines are maintaining, and I've managed to do that because I've got a thick consistency for this type of technique. If I had a more watery consistency, I don't believe that I would be able to maintain those rings and those lines that you're seeing there. So I'm just tilting it. I'm tilting each side I'm just making sure that the paint moves over. I'm so sorry that you probably can't see some of this. I'm loving that deep purple that you can see over on the right hand side. I'm really, really liking that. I'm really happy with this colour palette as well that I've chosen. It's something a little bit different to what I've normally done. I'm definitely going to use this colour palette again. You'll see all those drips. Don't worry, I am going to remove those drips from the edges once I'm happy with the design that I've got on that canvas. I'm just going to push a little bit more off the edge, because when I'm doing this, I'm actually looking at the composition and looking at the creation and the design that I kind of want an overall effect on. So it's really, you know, this is the fun part about fluid art. You can tilt whatever you want off that canvas and try and keep, you know, the bit that you really enjoy. Okay, I'm happy with this. I just want to just move that slightly over into the middle. I'm going to take you in for a closer look shortly, because guys, these lines I'm so proud of, and I'm really liking the colours that I've put within this palette. Okay, I'm just tilting a little bit more off. Okay, I'm going to take you in for a closer look. I like this one. Okay. I keep looking at it because I'm just wondering whether I should just move it over slightly a little more, but I'm really happy with the composition that I've got. So I'm just going along the edges and I'm taking off some of the drips and some of the excess paint. You know, it's a thicker paint, so I just want to get that off now, just so it doesn't start dragging the design that I've managed to create on top more over the edge and off the canvas. So I'm just going round the edges to remove those drips, and I think I've got good coverage on those sides. I think I've managed to get that design to continue over that deep edge, so not really any bits for me to fill in. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. So let me just finish up with these sides and then I'll take you in for a closer look. Okay, so here we go, the double ring pour. I love the colour palette that I've chosen. I don't know if there's a bit too much white just here. Let's see how those patches kind of dry out. But I love some of these lines. I really like that block of colour just here and just up here. I really think that makes the piece. And if you look at all these lines just here. Okay, so I'm going to see how this dries. Something that I've learned, and I think I say this every time, guys, and I need to get better at it, is I've wasted too much paint. Look at how much paint is on the table. I will scrape that and probably use that for a future piece, but yeah, the paints were thick, but that enabled me to have total control over the speed at which the paint flowed across the canvas. Yeah, I'm really liking it. So let's see how it dries, and I'll show you the dried version next. And I just wanted to mention, what I do with any of my paintings is when the paint's over the edges, remember any of the drips that's going to pull off the design on the top of the canvas. So I just go along with my palette knife or a spatula and just take off all the excess drips. That just ensures that the design isn't pulled off the canvas. Let me just take you in a little bit closer so you can see the wet version. I'm just going to go across some of the canvas, and you can see, look at those lines. I love those. I'm going to try this again. There we go. And this is the dried version. It dried really, really well. I'm amazed with those lines and some of that detail. Ring pours was the ring pour itself was the first kind of technique I did when I started out, and I'm I'm kind of going back and revisiting that, and I'm enjoying it. So I'll just show you the kind of the gloss finish. You can see kind of the shimmer when it's in the light. I'd love to know what you think, and as always, thank you so much for your feedback, all your comments. I read every single one. It's really important for me to understand what you enjoy watching, so let me know what you think of this one. If you've got any other ideas about colour palettes or techniques or any designs you want me to give a go and try out, then please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks again so much for all of your support, all of your feedback, all of your continued encouragement for me. I'm enjoying every single minute of this, and I hope you like this piece. This is a bit different for me. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.